Hi guys, it's Amy with A to Z Stamping, and today I wanted to do a card for you using the Abstract Impressions stamp set. So on this card, I'm actually going to use the sentiment, "There's so much to love about you," and then I'm also going to be using the Springtime Impressions Thinlits die. So there's this piece and this butterfly. There's also a little flower, but I'm going to be using these two pieces mostly. I'm just obsessed with this piece right here, and so I thought I'd show you this card I came up with. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to cut out, we're going to actually do our big shot work first. And I want to cut out two of these pieces right here. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. And actually, let me go ahead and grab my big shot out. Okay, so you won't be able to see the whole thing, but I'll show you my platform that I'm going to build, my sandwich here. So I've got the standard cutting plate, the thin die adapter, and then I like to use the precision base plate on something as intricate as this. You could use your regular plate. If you are, I would run it through like maybe 2 or 3 times. With the precision plate, you only need to do it the one time. All right, so I'm going to cut this one out twice. So I'm just going to lay my Whisper White cardstock on there. Let's see, which way does this fit best? Let's go this way right here. And then I'll put my top plate on, and we will run it through. Okay, so sorry guys, you're gonna see my arm here. Okay, so run that through, and I'm just gonna pop this out real quick. Now I need to do this one again, so I'm just gonna slide this to the side. And what I do at this point is I grab this, what is this called? It's at the bottom of the screen. The little brush here with the foam mat. And you lay this down and you just run your brush over it. And don't worry, it doesn't hurt it at all. But it just pops out all those little pieces. So if I lift it up, I can still see what little pieces are in there. Okay, and then see, this pops right out. And voila, isn't that stunning? So pretty. And if there's any tiny, like right there's a little piece still in there, just go ahead and grab your paper piercer and pop it through. But see, most everything should be out. Isn't that cool? All right, so I'm going to set this aside. Actually, I'm going to dump this out in the garbage. Okay, set these aside, and I'm going to cut one more out. So let me scoot this over again. I think it's called the Big Shot die brush. Anyway, I can't remember right now. Okay, I'm going to lay this on here and do one more. Oh, it's not on straight. Okay, come on. It's a little bit harder to crank. I'm a lefty, so when I have to crank with my right hand, it's a little harder for me. All right. That's a whole long story, but I think for most people, sorry guys, I know you're looking at my arm again. For most people, uh-oh. My paper's tangled here. Hold on. For most people, it is not hard at all to crank this. Excuse me, my okay. Let me pop this off here. And again, run this over. And this should pop right off. And I can see a couple little pieces that are still in there. See one right there. And that looks like it. All right, so there's those two. And then while I've got the Big Shot out, I want to do the butterfly. Here's the butterfly. And the butterfly I'm going to do in Pool Party. So I've got a scrap piece of Pool Party right here. I'm just going to leave the Big Shot over here. You'll see it in just a second come across. I still have my same the same platform, thin die adapter, precision base plate. And here it comes. All right. And I can pull this out. And I'm actually going to move the Big Shot out of the way. Okay. So I've got my butterfly here. Run this over. Okay. And let's see. We got a few more pieces over here. Okay, and if it doesn't pop right out, that's what all these little tiny holes are for. If you just push right there, see, it'll pop right out. Got a couple pieces right there. All right, and there is my butterfly. Isn't that so pretty? All right. I'm gonna put my die brush away. Move all these little tiny pieces out of my way. Okay, so this is what we ended up with. These two pieces here and a butterfly. So I'm gonna set the butterfly aside, and actually, I'm gonna put these dies back in the case just so I don't lose them somewhere on my desk. Okay. All right, the next thing I wanna do is I took a piece of just regular Whisper White cardstock, and this is cut at 4 1/4, wait, no, 5 1/4 by 4. Let me just check to make sure. Oh my goodness. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, there we go. 4 by 5 1/4. And we're actually going to stick these on here. So they will overlap each other a bit. Okay, so I'm going to get them on here, one and then the other. So what I like to do is I'm going to grab my silicone mat here. This thing is the best for gluing, especially with something like the multi-purpose glue, because your glue will not stick to it and you won't get glue all over your table. So I'm going to actually grab my multi-purpose glue. You could use the fine tip glue pen if you want. I'm using the small end, and I'm going to just stick just some glue toward the inside here in the wider spots. I just want a dab. I don't want it to like splatter out when I push it down, but just enough to hold it in place. Okay. So let me move that out of the way. I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to do my best here to just kind of get it so it's not really overlapping the edge too much. And I'll show you why in a second. You could overlap the edge a lot more. I did that actually on my sample card, and I'll show you how that turned out. But see, this goes down just fine. And I don't mind that this isn't stuck down because it'll stay down. Okay, and then we want to stick the other side. Now when we do the other side, you see what I mean, how these are going to have to overlap just a tiny bit? And that's okay with me. If you don't like that, you could trim these. And that's what I did on my sample card. I'll show you that. But I thought I would try it this way and see which look I like better. Okay, so same thing again. Just going to get some glue on here. Oops. I got something on there. I don't know what took me so long to get this silicone craft sheet. I think because I didn't know what it was. But anyway, this is what it's for when you're gluing things together. So if you get glue on it, the glue will not stick to this, which is awesome, because I have gotten glue all over my table before, and that is almost impossible to get off. Okay, move that aside. All right, so I'm going to just kind of line this up, line it up. I'm obsessed with the white on the white. If you took my Abstract Impressions class, the beginning of June, we did something sort of similar to this with the white on the white with this Thinlit. I love that look. Okay, so there we go. Isn't that so pretty? Okay, and let me put the lid back on my multi-purpose glue. I store my glue down like this. Do you guys remember a long time ago, I have a video, I made these cute little boxes. I actually use them, and I store my multi-purpose glue. Sorry, can you see this? I store one of them with the thin tip down, and I store one of them with the wide tip down. That way the glue is always ready to go in one of my tips. And here's my fine tip glue pen right there. Okay, so there's that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to grab my card base. So this is the thick Whisper White. I cut it 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and I'm just going to go ahead and fold this over and grab my bone folder here. Okay, and my card's going to actually open this way. All right, and this is going to go right over the top. So you can decide which way is your top and which way is your bottom. It doesn't really matter. You decide. But it's going to go right on the top like this. So what I'm going to do, but I wanted to pop it up a little bit. So I'm going to, before we do that, I'm going to finish decorating the front of it. All right. So let's see here. Actually, I do need my Big Shot one more time, because I want to cut a stitched oval right here. This is from this, the stitched, what do we call these? Stitch shaped framelits. You get ovals, squares, and circles. And this is the largest oval. And I'm going to grab this, and I've got the magnetic platform now, a plate, my piece of paper, my oval, which will stick right to the magnet, and a top plate, and run that through. And simple. All right, put this back. All right, and now I've got, with the stitched ones, you kind of have to pop them out. They kind of stick in there a little bit. There we go. And see how it's stitched? Cool, right? Okay, let me put this back in here. All right, so on here, I'm going to stamp the There's So Much to Love About You, and I've already got that here on my block, and I'm going to stamp that in the Pool Party ink. And I'm actually going to grab my foam mat just because it is a photopolymer stamp, and it'll stamp better on a foam mat. It's funny because the Pool Party ink, you don't even see anything on the block, so it looks like there's nothing there, but there is. Okay, and I'm going to stamp it right at the bottom. Look at that. Pretty, right? Grab my chamois. And my stamp is all clean and ready to be put away. The chamois is the best. It comes in, it is purple when you get it, but it eventually get dyed by ink, and that is totally normal. I store mine in one of our clear cases, so I do rinse it every day. If you're gonna store it in the case, you wanna leave it open and let it dry first. You don't wanna store it closed in the case unless you cut holes in your case, because it's wet, and so you don't want it to get moldy or anything. I mean, I don't even know if that would happen, but I mean, science tells me that would eventually happen. So they will dry out very quickly, and then each day when I'm coming to work in my craft room, I just go, I get it wet again, the chamois. It's not dripping wet or anything, and I'm good to go for the day. Okay. All right, so that's all the stamping I'm gonna do. Then I'm gonna grab the Pool Party and Silver Baker's Twine here. Grab this. And I'm going to wrap some of that around this. So let me stick some, I'm actually going to stick some adhesive on the back here so I can stick this to it. Okay, so I want to go, let's see, 1, 2, I'm going to go 3 times around. Oops, I pulled it off. Try that one more time. 1, 2, 3, and oops, you guys, I keep pulling it off. What am I doing? It's because it's an oval. 1, 2, 3. That's why I'm struggling. And I'm going to stick it down to the, whoops, don't pull it off again, Amy. I'm going to stick this down to the adhesive before I pull it off again. There we go. And let me just trim that off. Okay, and while I have this upside down, I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive all over the back. Okay. And this is going to go right here on the front, like so. And then I'm going to take just a little bit more, and I'm going to tie a bow, because why not? Let's move this to this side. All right, so we're just going to tie, am I even on the screen? I am just all over the place today. Okay. I just had to go stop in the middle and go pick up my son from basketball camp, and got me all frazzled. Okay, in the middle of what I was doing, I should say. All right, that looks good to me. So I'm gonna grab this and cut off my little tails. Okay, so this is the Silver and Pool Party Baker's Twine. Isn't that pretty? It has like the little silver pieces in it. Grab the little tape. Okay, and then with our cute little butterfly, actually, I'm going to move my bow over a little bit. My butterfly is going to go on here. I'm going to just stick some adhesive. Again, Amy, don't adhere right onto your cable. See, this is perfect for this, the silicone mat. Because see, now I don't have glue all over my, I do not have glue all over my desk. Okay, this guy, I'm going to fold his wings up a tiny bit. I'm going to put right like so. And then I'm going to grab our little rhinestones here. Let me grab my paper piercer. And I'm going to do a rhinestone and a rhinestone and a smaller rhinestone. Okay. And then now this needs to go on the front. Isn't this so pretty? There's so much to love about you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to pop it up. So you can grab just your regular dimensionals and put them all around the edge, but I like to use the foam strips. What do you call these? The foam adhesive strips. And you get 40 strips this long. You get a ton in here. I like to cut one in the center like so, so that, just like this, so that I have some that are half, some that are about this way, this long, and this way, this long. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the strips, and I like to go in just a little. This also, these strips are perfect if you want to do shaker cards. Okay, so let's go 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's not 3 yet. Okay. I'll grab the smaller one right here. Right here. Oops, get it right in there. And I need one more shorter one. Let's see, I'm gonna actually cut this one. All right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Peel those off. Come on. Okay, throw that all the way. And this is going to go right on the front here, like so. Oops, that is way too low. Come on, Amy. Okay. Let's get this on here just right. There we go. And there we go. And see how it's popped up a little? Isn't that pretty? And it looks a little crooked, but you know what? We're just going to have to live with it, I think, if I can fix it. I don't know why I'm struggling. I didn't struggle at all with the first one. Okay, there we go. And that is my card. Isn't that pretty? There's so much to love about you. Now on this one, remember, we overlapped the center. You can barely tell on here. I kind of like that. Now let me show you what I did differently. Here's the one I designed before. And on this one, I did not overlap the centers. What I did was I took my scissors and I trimmed the edges. So my edges are cut off. Can you see that? And I think I like this look a little bit better than this look, but really it's just a personal preference. It doesn't matter. And I think you could also, it just hung over a tiny bit if you didn't want it to overlap, and I think it might be kind of cool to leave it like that. I don't know, you decide. So anyway, here's my Abstract Impressions and Springtime Impressions card. Isn't that so fun? Using Pool Party. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you will subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks, guys. Bye.